Welcome back to Are You Seeing This? I have Canary once again. Courtney, how are you?
Oh, I am so good. Oh my gosh.
I love the bangs. I can't help it. I have to say it again. I love the bangs.
Thank
It's so
you.
cute. Also, we'll be posting this on Women's Knockout Podcast. So, hello for any listeners out there. Today, we're going to be reviewing Clash at the Castle. There's a lot to cover. We actually did pretty good in our predictions. If you haven't seen our prediction video, go to the link here below for my YouTubers and watch it there. But yeah, like I think we got almost all of them. I think me and you kind of like switched our answers a little bit. Like I was split with Drew and Damian. I was like, oh my god, I don't know who's gonna get that. But everybody else we did pretty good
Yeah.
on. All right, so let's do the tag team. The surprise. Like I guess not really a surprise because we predicted it, but they actually took it. You were right. The two women. Two women. Wow.
I was very shocked because Bianca and Jade were dominating most of that match. So I was really shocked when it happened, when I saw them win the belt. I was shocked because I was like, I didn't think they'd actually do this. I didn't think they were actually going to go that route of,
Right.
having Alba and Isla pin either Zoe or Shayna. I wasn't expecting that. I was pleasantly surprised that my prediction came true. If I'm not mistaken, about 50, I was 50-50 with mine. I got half of them right, and then I got the other half wrong. But I was right about the way that the storyline was going to go with one of the matches. I was pleasantly happy with that. The outcome of the match didn't happen the way I wanted, but it did veer the storyline in the way that I wanted it to.
Right. I know that I think we were like debating like, okay, they're in Scotland. One of them have to win. You know, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Drew, Piper, or, Alba and Isla? And I think like we were split between, oh, maybe it's Piper going to win. But then I was like, no, because they introduced that storyline way too late and I don't see it. And so then we kind of went back to like, it could be the tag team. And I was like, no, it's so sad. But then I was like, it has to be them because you guys were like so adamant that Drew was going to get it. And you guys were right, by the way. I was like, what if Drew wins? Like, I wanted him to win, but I think I like switched to the last second. I was like, I think Damian's going to win, but I want Drew to win because I just felt like everyone deserves that moment when you're in your home country and you win. Like, I just felt bad for him and he lost. This is his second time. That's the second time losing in your home country. Like, how does that feel as a wrestler, as a performer, I don't know. But speaking of the tag teams, congratulations to Alba and Isla. That is awesome. And it's such a good feat. I mean, technically to say that you beat Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, like, wow. That's a big accomplishment. Even if it's,
not a technical victory over the two. In a sense, you did win over the two of them. So
yes. Can we just talk about how Bianca and Jade looked? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. Their gear to their hair to their makeup. Oh my god. It was phenomenal. Like
beautiful.
There are no words that I could accurately come up with that would be able to really relay how good they looked. Like between Bianca's look was so good. I literally thought she was Godzilla. I thought she was Godzilla. And then they panned closer to her gear and I was like, oh my god, wait, she's a dragon. She's a dragon.
A dragon, yes. I was like, she's a dragon. I was like, what are the spikes? At first I thought they were like Vikings or something. Jade looks more like a Viking. And then Bianca looked like a dragon. I think that was really cool. And Jade looked kind of scary with the like face paint. I was like, oh, but they looked amazing. I don't know, but when they came out, I just had a feeling. I was like, they're gonna lose. I don't know. I just feel it. Like they're gonna lose. But you're right. It sets them up to have tension because technically, right, it's Jade's fault that they didn't win, right? And so now Bianca's gonna be looking at her like, and they kind of foreshadow this. Remember when they had that backstage scene when Bianca's like, I won, and I mean, you lost. You know, they
Yep.
kind of like set that up a little bit. And so now it's kind of like, well, I'm the ESC, I'm winning everything. Like, I don't know, you're not pulling your weight, or I think that's what they're trying to do. And then we'll have like that big fight that everybody thinks it's too soon. I did kind of want them to have a longer run.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a decision they made because they're in Scotland, unfortunately. And the other two, they couldn't take from. Like, they couldn't, it's not time for their story yet. So I feel like the tag kind of got the short end of the stick a little bit. But, Alba is going through a lot. Or I'm sorry, Isla. Is it Isla or Alba?
Alba.
Yeah, Alba's going through a lot. I think she lost her mother.
Yep.
And so this is a great victory for her. And Triple H made it known that it wasn't because of this, that they won. So they wanted us to know that. But I think that's, they had a real beautiful moment. Okay, what about Bayley and Piper?
That one was really good. I was a little bit behind on the time when I was streaming with them. So they were seeing things faster than I was. And at one point, all I'm hearing is, Rey Mysterio's here! Rey Mysterio's here! And I'm just so confused because mine is still catching up in the time frame. And then Chelsea Green, she stole the show with that. Like, she just stole the show. Piper gave it her all. She wrestled in a skirt, basically. She wrestled with, like, shoulder pads on. Like, I know that must have been heavy, so I know that must have been hard for her. But just seeing her use her height and her weight to her advantage, knowing what she could do, knowing what she can't do, and then seeing her just hold her own in there with no help at all. Yeah, Chelsea Green was a distraction, but she never physically got involved. Piper held her own in that match, and that is something that I love to see. So it was really nice for me to see that because it really brought me back to her time in the NXT UK division. And that's what it brought me back to. I'm like, this is the version of Piper I want to see week after week on SmackDown. This is the version.
Yeah. Honestly, I think when Nia came back, I think that's when I noticed Piper starting to get a little overshadowed, or like forgotten about, not having as many appearances. I know she went on NXT and they did that like fun little thing around Halloween time, and they did like the wolf and the Red Riding Hood or something like that. And they were having like a lot of spotlight, but then it just like died down again. And then, they kind of got put in the background somewhere. But yeah, you're right. Like, I remember seeing some of those, moments in the NXT UK with Piper. And I always thought she was so strong. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. She has such a cool gimmick. Like, but then I don't know, you're right. It kind of slowed down. So yeah, I hope this is just kind of going to lead to her, showing up more, maybe without Chelsea from time to time. I love how every time we talk about Piper and Bayley, you're like, Chelsea Green.
Because she plays a valuable role in it, and that's what people don't understand. Like, she gives that comedic relief to this very serious storyline that they're trying to create between Bayley and Piper. Because the way that I saw it on that one Friday, Bayley's like was really offended that she went about it the way that she did to get her title shot, when she's like, all you had to do was ask. So it went from a very hurt, serious situation to a very unserious situation with Chelsea Green, just in the background, just adding that comedic relief at the perfect points in time. And you can tell it's not forced. It's just all natural. That's just who she is.
Yeah. She's so comfortable as an actress because that's what she technically kind of started out as before wrestling. So she's just hilarious, so comfortable on the mic. And I think she's helping Piper build more confidence too around speaking, and having them together is, I don't know, kind of developing Piper more like on the mic and stuff, because we haven't really seen her as much on the mic recently. But yeah, Chelsea Green. I love that you saw the meme, right? Chelsea Green to Chelsea Verde.
Chelsea Verde.
That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I swear. That is hilarious. She came out in the same clothes, just a mask on.
And that's when I reposted. I'm like, damn, Ray got some good hair. He not only did he show up with the fit, but he showed up with the length, giving inches, serving.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so funny. She's just hilarious. And that little skirt, I just was like, it was just so funny, like being mad, throwing a temper tantrum in a little skirt. It's just like, it was hilarious. All right, what about Sami?
I wasn't surprised when he retained. I most likely knew that he was going to retain. As much as I said I wanted Gable to get it, like I did say, unfortunately, I knew they were going to keep it on Sami because it just made, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but it made sense as to why what happened on Monday happened.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it really just solidified the fact that Otis isn't going to do anything until Maxine is hurt or in harm's way at all, period. Because he didn't get in Gable's face until he basically took out Chelsea's leg again, or not Chelsea, Maxine's leg.
Yeah.
Back to sorry, when he took out Maxine's leg again. So, and that's when he stepped in and got in his face. But for the very first time, but again, we did see it a little bit on Monday again, that when Chelsea, or my God, not Chelsea, Maxine. Oh my gosh. When Maxine was getting in that ring. Yeah. And again, please God, just give her the other crutch. Like it's bothering me. Give her the other crutch because my girl's struggling. Yeah. But that's when we really saw him take charge for himself. Yeah, it had a little to do with Maxine and a little to do with Tozawa, but he really stepped in for his own good. Yeah. He stepped in for the greater good. And he launched that man.
Yeah. If Maxine wasn't as hurt, like, as hurt as she was, you're right. I think he would have turned then. Mm-hmm. But he would, Maxine called out for him. And so he turned, immediately to, go and help her out. And but it was such a cute moment. I was like, oh my God, I love love. I love the little, girly stuff about wrestling, the storyline. And I was just, I was like, as soon as they walked out, I was like, oh, Sami's winning. Like, Sami won. He got this in the bag. And he did win. That was a safe bet. I think that was a safe winner. And so, yeah, I know you wanted a wild card here, but it didn't happen. And Otis didn't even turn yet. He didn't.
Not really, no. Gable, if we look back on what happened on Monday, Gable expelled them. He turned his back on them, not the other way around. Yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, my gentle giant did his job and he did right.
Yes.
Otis can do no wrong in my eyes. No one can ever make me hate him.
No, he's so sweet. So what does this mean for Sami? Well, now we know that what we'll get into in the next video, he has another feud brewing now. So I think, there's a lot to talk about. I'll just move on from the Sami because there's
a whole lot to lead into that. So
yes. So now we have AJ versus Cody, which we all kind of predicted. I think we all said Cody was going to take this one.
I hated the end of that match. Through and through, it was, I don't know, it was very anticlimactic for me. Yes. That it was very just the threat of throwing a stare at you was going to make you quit. Then if that was it, I should have done that from the very beginning. Because him and AJ went through all these trials and tribulations that entire match, done way worse to each other. But as soon as the object of being thrown at, just like one of the steps being thrown at you, that's going to make you quit. And then, lo and behold, he just did it anyways.
Yeah.
The end of the match was very anticlimactic. The rest of the match, from beginning to middle, very good. At one point, I didn't know who was going to take it. At one point, I was sure that AJ Styles was going to take it. And then, boom, no, never mind.
Yeah, I know you guys like the stipulation of the, I quit, but I don't like it because what does that mean now? What does that mean for AJ Styles? I love AJ. I don't want him to leave, and I just think that it made it made him look weaker, you know? I don't like that.
I agree with you. It very much so made him look very weak because you had him literally pupil to pupil with Cody Rhodes' mom.
Yeah.
Saying all this, calling them names, calling him names, calling her names, but then you're just going to fold as soon as a step is threatened to throw at you? Really? And we all know the I quit match really means, okay, see you guys in 6 months. I'm going on a hiatus. That's really what an I quit match means in the WWE.
So they can come back. They can technically come back.
Exactly. They can technically come back because if you think in terms of a business, in a business, AJ Styles draws money, he draws merch, he draws views. So it would be dumb. Now, however, if AJ himself decides he didn't want to resign, that was on him. But from a business standpoint, why wouldn't you reoffer him a contract to come back after his hiatus? Business decision doesn't make sense. Or it does make sense. It doesn't make sense to not bring him back. So that's why I say these I quit matches just don't make sense at all anymore. Unless it is confirmed that they are not coming back after that contract expires, then do an I quit match. Because then it's going to solidify that they quit and they're not coming back. Don't do an I quit match and then 6 months later pop up, say, hi, I'm back.
Right, because then it ruins the story too, the storyline. So if they do bring them back, how are they going to bring them back? You know, or like, do you have to fight your way back in? You could like take me back fight.
Are we going to bring it all the way back to winner gets a contract with the WWE? Like, what are we doing? At that point, you're going to have him fight someone from NXT who's already under contract, who knows they're not going anywhere, but have them go up for a little recognition. That's really the only way I could see that happening.
Yeah. Resign me. A resign me match.
Resign me match. Winner gets to resign.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I think then what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just Drew and Damian. That was fast. We went through it pretty fast.
I will give props to Damian, though, for when he got caught in between those two ropes. Ooh. I genuinely thought his ankle had snapped at that point in time. Because from the way that he went over to the gravity pulling him down extremely quickly, and then just seeing the look on Drew's face and the ref's face, that tells you that that was not supposed to happen. Like, that was a mess up. It was a mistake. I'm not going to call it a botch because it was the ropes. I'm not going to call it a botch because it wasn't an actual move. So I'm not calling it a botch. He didn't mess anything up. He literally just got caught in between the two ropes.
Speaking of botches, there was something wrong with those ropes. Because everybody was slipping on them. You know, we know Jade slipped on the top ropes and everybody made such a big deal. But then Damian does this and it's still technically... it's a mistake. It's a botch. You know, to me, I see it as that. Just like she botched by, you know, slipping. It's a slip. You slipped, and that's fine. But yeah, there was like more scrutiny, I guess, on Jade for some reason.
It's because when the WWE presented her, they presented her as this perfect wrestler. She never messes up. She's the absolute greatest of all time, even though she is the greatest of all time. They presented her as if she could never mess up. She does everything perfectly. She executes every move like it's supposed to. She never messes up. So now that she did prove that she is a human being, now everybody is getting on her ass, which isn't fair.
It's not. Imagine the pressure. Imagine the pressure of being built up to be a perfect human being. I mean, we compare her to Storm, you know, like a fictional character, he's superhero. And yes, they're superheroes in their own way, right? We're all superheroes, but like we're not actually superheroes. We make mistakes and we can't fly. So if we slip on the rope, we slip. But yeah, I mean, maybe that proves that there was something slippery on the ropes, or maybe they were so new or something like that. I don't know, because a lot of people were like over jumping them or stepping on them weird or slipping. So could have been you're right. It could have been the ropes issue. But with Damian, he literally like went on the second rope and then the top, like he got one of his legs above the top rope and then his second foot like hooked under the second rope, and
Yep.
the second rope pulled up over the first rope, which is crazy. So he like literally just hung by his ankle. That's like what, 200 pounds
Yeah.
on your ankle.
Not to mention, at that point in time, everything after that is just on gravity.
Yeah.
So you're, depending on your weight and your stature, if you're bigger, you're getting pulled down fast. Or if you're bigger, it's going to be a little bit slower. If you're smaller, you're getting pulled down faster. So for him, I was really shocked to see how fast his back actually hit the ring apron when he went over the rope.
Yeah.
But I was reading that different wrestling promotions use different types of ropes, and they cover it with different types of materials. So as far as I'm concerned, they just use regular rope for the WWE, whereas AEW or somewhere else uses like a tighter, more wiry type one, so it's more sustainable to stand on, jump on, or something like that. But also what I read is the ropes were not screwed in tight enough.
I saw that.
Like they weren't done tight enough. And if they're not done tight enough, and you saw it in almost every single match except for maybe one or two. Yeah. So if it's happening in every match except one or two, that's not on the wrestlers. It's on the equipment at that point. Because if whoever's screwing in those or tightening the ropes isn't tightening it tight enough, it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, there's not enough bounce. There's not enough bounce on it. You can't bounce. It's too slack. And so if you're like a bigger person and you need to jump high, you're going to jump as hard as you can on the rope. But if the rope is slack, then you're going to fall and you're going to be like, oh, wait, I overjumped that. Yeah. So I don't know. That stinks. But yeah, so Damian, Drew helped Damian out of it. And luckily, I mean, he was limping a little bit throughout. So I was, but I mean, he finished it. There was a specific point where, once the ref left the match, I was like, oh my gosh, like who's gonna win? Oh my gosh. I was like really split at that moment. I was like, I don't know who's gonna win this. And then guess who has to come and ruin everything? Your favorite, though, I thought, right? I thought CM Punk you liked.
Phil, you ruined everything. Daddy Drew had that in the bag, and then you decided to pull one of your wife's moves and go 1, 2. Oh no. Okay, AJ. Okay.
Right.
Okay, AJ Lee. I was irate. I was irate watching that live. I was so pissed. I was like, are you kidding me? You ruined everything.
I was so mad. And like, I think I made a comment the other day, or I tweeted, I was like, Drew got his lick back, okay? He already got his lick back when he cost Drew the title the first time, you guys. Someone else replied, I think it was Alyssa, and she was like, well, no, this is months long of hatred, and it's been 3 long months, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, but he got his lip back at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is the top event out of the entire year. What do you mean? I feel like him doing this is like, now you're the villain. Like, I feel like now you're the one that is adding to the situation, because Drew left him alone. Right.
It's just adding insult to injury.
He literally said, Drew will never be champion if I'm around.
Phil? All right, Phil. I'm showing up to every event that you're at. And I'm going to make sure Daddy Drew wins. Okay? Even if it means I get banned. It's fine. As long as I know.
So we know Zelina and Finn are possibly the biggest cockblocks.
Yes.
But between Liv Morgan and CM Punk, I don't know who's, getting the revenge reward or whatever award. Because they are, equally
I'm gonna give it to Liv though, because Phil never got creative and tried to steal someone else's partner. So I'm gonna give it to Liv because she knows that that's mommy's man, and she straight up was just like, you want it, come get it.
I'm sorry. I'm giving it to CM Punk because yes, you can get them. You can get. There's so many men out there. You can get as many as you want. But a title, like your moment
Your time to shine.
in your country was taken because of this man. Like that's a big moment, a big accomplishment. All those years of hard work and putting in and slaving and trying to wrestle, and this guy just comes and ruins your moment. That's worse than just a man. I can get 50 men. Like, but this moment, like, ugh,
I will.
Liv is just kind of, I don't know.
To quote Selena, she's being Thotty Miss Two Shoes. But I will say, though, I will give CM Punk his flowers / Phil on this front. He has made it a little bit more entertaining because you are right. He did get his lick back at WrestleMania, but now it's like that. You can feel the actual bad blood between them. You can tell they do not actually like each other. You can just tell from the way that he'll cut a promo, from the way that Drew will post something on the internet. They do not like each other. And you could tell, you could feel it when each of them was giving a promo. You could especially feel it with Drew McIntyre. Because if I'm not mistaken, Phil basically told Drew that he wasn't going to amount to anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I actually like this rivalry. I'm for it. However, if they make Punk win this, Triple H, we're going to have some words.
You're a Drew fan now?
I've always been a Drew fan ever since Banger Bros. Really been a fan of that. Yeah.
I always say he's what is it? Debbie Downer Drew.
Debbie Downer Drew.
I'm not even a huge Drew fan, but even I feel for the guy. Like, come on. He deserves the title. He deserves a moment. He deserves that win, I think. I think he did. That's sad. He's like going to become the biggest baby face. He's like Cody. He lost twice. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm sure that feud isn't done. I wonder if his feud with Damian is done for now, because a lot of people are predicting that Damian and Finn will have,
beef.
Yeah. I think
I don't know. Finn capped his ass off to him the other day, so.